Hey everyone, today's Tuesday Tidbits is going to be a little bit of a change of what we thought we were going to do. Marty and I just never can make a plan. It just doesn't work.
We make it and it changes.
Yeah,
so what's the point?
We're very flexible in some things, not physically, but we're
I
very
don't know if that's
flexible.
Flexible or flighty. I can't figure
be.
that one out.
What we've decided to do is next week we're going to take off because it is the 4th of July. Everybody go out and have a picnic with hot dogs and hamburgers. And so, but the following week, what our plan is we're going to do a mini quilt show for you. We have been trying very hard, and we thought we were going to be ready today, but we're not. We've got a bunch of new products that we want to, kits mostly, but projects that we want to show you. So by then, hopefully we will have them all done. They'll be quilted. They will look like they're supposed to be, not these things flapping on the flannel wall that we didn't get done. So what we thought is a little filler we would do is we're going to revisit our wonderful 60-degree triangle ruler. A lot of you have done them, but if you've not, we're going to walk you through how to do it. And then I think there's going to be a link below if all goes well. And we're going to offer some kits. And what we decided we would do is we paired up a border stripe with a backing, and we're going to sell the kits for $30 a piece. And what you're going to get is 2 yards of the border stripe, and you'll get 1.5 yards of the background fabric. And that's actually going to be enough to either do 2 complete tops, or
no, it should be 2 complete runners.
It's 2 complete. Yeah, 2 complete runners.
Yeah, because it's top and
you're
back.
Right. You're right. It is. Or I'm going to show you some little side projects too that we can do with it. But what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to show you how to make these, and we are going to put some instructions on here also. Okay. So what you've got to do, the first thing you've got to do is, this is the 60-degree triangle ruler, or table runner. I'm sorry, table runner.
And I do the same thing.
And it's actually, you just want to find a border stripe that you like, and the way we're going to cut it is going to dictate how wide it is going to be, how long it is going to be. But this is probably the fastest table runner you will make in a long time. And it looks very special, so it looks like you really knocked yourself out.
Ooh, that Rice Krispie project.
That's Rice Krispie project. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a border stripe. Now this is one that I've cut part of it off, but we're going to just look at it. And the thing you have to decide is, for the space you want it, how wide do you want it to be? Because if you want a really narrow one, you've got to think about whatever strip you cut on here, that's going to be twice that wide. Your table runner is going to end up being twice that wide. So if you cut a 6-inch part of your border stripe, you're going to have a 12-inch wide runner-ish. All right. If you do a much wider one, you're going to have a fatter one. So you've got to determine what size you want to do. I always do this for the bathroom here at the shop, and I am very determined what I can do, because I can't get too fat or it'll drape off the front of it. So what I decided to do on this one, the other thing you have to determine is, what do you want to be the center and what do you want to be the outside? So on this one, I decided that I was going to make the pink line is going to be the center of my table runner. So that's going to be in the middle here. Gotcha? So
got it.
Now, check. Now what I have to decide is, how do I want that center to look? Do I want to have like just half of this? I could go, let's see, how can I do this? We'll do it like this. You have to do a little bit of thinking and planning, but once you have the thinking and planning done, it's easy peasy. So do I want it to look like, can you see it from there,
so
Marty?
Stripe on stripe, yeah.
Yep, so you can have the stripe on stripe. You could put a stripe with a little bit of beige in the middle. You could do just half and half, so it looks like just the pink one.
Could you take it out and do half of the small one too?
Half of what small one?
Half of this guy.
No, because it's not going to be the same. That would be messy. I wouldn't do that. So that's what. So what I sorry. What I decided to do is I'm going to make mine so that I have just a little bit of beige going down the middle. And the reason for that is, if you try to do exactly beige on beige, although there's that one stupid purple flower, I may have just changed my mind. It's a little bit tougher to get an exact beige on beige, or I'm sorry, coral on coral, but I can fuss with that a little bit when I get there. That's probably what I'm going to end up doing. All right. So if that is the case, then what I have to do is I have to cut this, if you think about this, 1/4 of an inch away from that coral line, so that when I'm stitching the 2 pieces together, the coral will be on top of the coral. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler, and I just made the decision I am going to do that. I'm going to just put my 1/4 inch on that coral line, And I'm going to just cut this right down. Oh, the shadow right there is really bad. Right down the edge. And if you see, I'm just kind of moving the ruler as I need to go to get along. Got it? Okay, so don't need to keep going on there. Now on the outside edge, which is going to be out here, because sometimes I do bind them, but if you want to do a real quick one, you're going to just turn them and be done. So that's what we're going to do on this one. And I decided on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the blue is going to be like my pretend binding. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put the 1/4 inch on the outside of the blue. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. Okay? So you would cut this down the entire way.
And you would need 2 strips that are the same.
You need to cut 2 strips exactly the same. So when I go to cut this strip, this is going to be waist. You can put that in.
Yeah, but you could put that in the bottom of like a towel. That would
there
be
you
a
go. That would
companion
match a
piece
tea
to
towel.
go with it.
Yep, there you go. The other thing too is if you only wanted one of these, you could take, because I cut half of it off. This could be the backing for the second one. Or the first one, I'm sorry. The first one. So if you didn't want to make 2 tops, you can make a top and a back. So that's what we have to do. So I've cut my 2 pieces that are exactly the same. There's the 1 and there's the 2. Hopefully you can all see from there. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of what mine is going to look like. So what you want to do is lay them out like that and say, yep, that's what I want. Or do I want the blue in the middle? You could put the blue in the middle, but I want the pink in the middle, the coral. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it together, right sides together, and I'm going to line these up really good. Now this is a point where you might want to think about going back to your iron and iron these nice and flat together, because you want these lined up perfectly. You want the pink coral on the coral, right? Get those lined up as perfectly as you can so it looks like that. And I'm not going to, it's obvious because I'm not going to run back to the iron, but you get the idea. All right. Then what we need is our 60-degree ruler. You can use a regular ruler. It is much easier if you have a 60-degree ruler. Now, Marty, this is going to be reversed, but is that going to be?
No, you're fine.
Okay. So this is our 60-degree triangle ruler. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and it's got you can see the top is nubbed off.
Yep.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, put the top up here, and as a little double check, I'm going to run one of my lines so that I can make sure that I'm not crooked. That's what my bottom line is here. So I'm going to put it like that. Make sure I'm past all the unevenness over here. Make sure it's nice and straight. Push down. Very carefully, I'm going to cut. That's throwaway. And I'm going to cut. Okay? Then I'm going to flip the ruler around, put it up on the top, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. One cut this time, because I lined it up over here. Now on the other side, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. While I'm cutting, I can talk to you about yardage a little bit. You are going to, so what we did in the kits is we put 2 yards of the border stripe. 2 yards will give you a nice, healthy, long table runner. If you start cutting it and it's too long, then you just cut another couple of the triangles off of it. Turn it around. And go like this. So what we are going to end up with is, here's your math for you. Triangles and trapezoids. I think that's a trapezoid, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, Ms. Math person there? Mm-hmm. All right. So what we've got now is we're going to flip this open. Now we have got 4 sets of triangles that we cut, 2 in each pile. 2 of them are going to be not useful here, because if you look at it, I've got blue going on pink. So that's going to kind of mucks up the pattern. So I find my blue ones, my outside blue ones, and that's going to go there. And that's going to go there. And then I'm coming over on this end, and that's going to go there. and that's going to go there. Okay, so now all we have to do is we're going to flip this way, and this is the important part. Make sure you get these pink lines and the blue lines matched up so that when this is stitched, everything lines up. You don't have jig-joggies and all of that sort of stuff. And remember how we had the nipped off ruler? That gives you your little 1/4 inch up there. It works out perfectly. Line everything up. You're going to stitch and then flip. Same thing, stitch, flip, and then you have one long seam down the middle, and voila, you have your top of your 60-degree triangle table runner done. Now, because we can't waste anything, at least some of us can't, what I've got left is I've got these 4 little lonely triangles, and what to do with them, what to do. Well, when we do our bathroom in the back always, I always have to have, I take 3 of these, and sometimes I have to cut down a little bit. You just make that, and that's for the back of the toilet. You can put that on the back of on top of your toilet. Now, another thing is, you can, if you've got a length, and this, a longer strip than that one was short, cut off one more section, and you would have enough, because you would have 2 more triangles here, you have enough to do a little topper. Because that's going to take 6 pieces. So if I cut 2 more pieces, that's going to give me a little topper to go on a vanity or something like that, or wherever you want to put it. A nightstand, something along those lines. And the thing you want to remember on this, because I always do it and I always catch myself, our first inclination is we do everything in pairs. So you would sew these together, sew these together, sew those together. Don't do that, because then you have to do set-in seams. You're going to sew 3 together, just like we did before, 3 together, and then do the long center seam. Now, so we have the tops done. If you're not going to bind it, which if you're doing this as a quick project, you don't need to bind it. What we're going to just do is we're going to layer it up and sew it around, turn it right side out. Now, we've talked about this before, how we, and of course I didn't do it on that one, but did I do it on this? Yes. What we're going to do is we're going to layer things up, but we're going to take our backing piece, and remember how we split this in half so that you can sew all the way around it and turn it through this, and then just whip stitch that closed so that you don't have that one edge that you try to make it perfectly straight and it never works out. And then all you have to do is quilt these. You can be as simple, you can just do your seam lines, do out here, and that's done. So that is the 60-degree triangle ruler. We'll put the instructions. Here's another little one that I had started that I haven't gotten finished, but someday it will.
Well, and I just wanted to make a comment too. If you notice on the topper here, it's really hard to plan the pattern. So it's things are not going to necessarily line up. But if you look at the big picture, it's just a cute little topper.
Right.
Same thing like on this runner. I mean, are all the flowers perfect going around? No. But if you look at the big picture, it's just perfect. So don't stress out over stuff like that.
The only part I really stress out about is I like these lines right here.
Yeah,
I like those to line up. And they're not perfect, some of them, but that's what your eye is going to see more than if these 2 flowers don't match. So yeah, good point. Now on this one, this is the perfect example of I did the top. This was my leftover. So I have plenty here if I want to use this as my backing. Or, as we do in the bathroom, a valance. So you can do whatever you like with the thing. So I think that's what we need to tell you about this week. I've got enough mess here to show you. As I said, we're going to put a whole bunch of, Marty and I went through with our, because we really both like border stripes. So we went through and we were pairing stuff up. So we would pick a nice back to go with a nice front. And so that's what you're going to see down underneath or through the link, however that works.
You cannot make an easier runner. You really, truly can't.
No, and if you need a gift, if you see, sometimes it's good, and we have ladies that do this or people that do this. If you want to make a couple of these and stick them in the closet, you need a quick gift for somebody, right. You've got one right there. Not a huge amount of expense.
And not a big time suck either.
No, not at all. And if you, because all you're going to need is like 1.25 yards of, no, not even that. You'd need like 1/2 yard of batting, of fleece or whatever you put in.
Unless you go longer.
Right, unless you go a lot longer.
So the ones that we're sticking on the kits, we've got fall, we've got summer, very pretty florals, we've got some Christmas. Yeah, a little bit of everything. So take a peek.
Yeah, and try these. Once you make one, I hate to be this way, but they're like cats. You can't what is the saying? Cats are like potato chips. You can never have just one. That's the same thing with these. You never can make just one, because once you see how easy it is, and if you have any border stripes in your arsenal, go grab them, get them out. So that's for today. Now, remember, we won't have a Tidbits next weekend, or next Tuesday. It is the holidays, so poor Beth, we gave her the weekend off. The poor thing. And then, so the following week, if all goes well, we're going to have our mini quilt show. Get an extra large cup of whatever you're going to be drinking, because it may be a little bit longer, because we do have lots to show you. Okay? See you next week. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Bye.